Hi, I'm Meg.
And I'm David.
Welcome to The Average Vegans, a podcast to help you live an attainable vegan lifestyle. We're not the ripped influencer vegans you hear about in other podcasts. We're just some ordinary people living in the South, eating plants and loving animals.
And on to today's episode, we're doing a purple carrot review.
Oh my God.
Purple
I was wondering, how is he going to make this weird?
Well, growing up, my dad said carrot instead of carrot because it's just funny. But we're doing a review of purple carrot today.
Did he really?
Yeah, he goes, have some carrots. Yeah.
Did he say it with any, did he make fun of or make little nicknames for any other veggies? Because that's just weird.
No, but we all say Paschetti and Lagazna and Bologna. We would say those.
Oh man! All right,
And
all
we
right.
would say those too.
Yeah, you gotta have fun. Gotta have fun.
Anybody hear that little voice, little extra voice? That wasn't mine.
Was the one in my head? Because sometimes.
No, not you.
Oh, okay.
We have a guest today, everybody. This is exciting. We have our friend Rosie here today. We're gonna give a little bio about Rosie. She's born and raised here in Georgia. I love to throw that in there. So is David. And she currently works as director of marketing communications for a nonprofit organization, doing the good stuff. She's also one of our closest friends, or friend is of the podcast, as they say in the podcast world. Isn't that what they say? Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. We're
F of the P. F of the P. What's up?
I've known Rosie for over 7 years, but I don't know. David, probably a little bit longer.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been quite a while now. And so started as a client at that worked with the agency that David and I worked for. She's just like one of our favorite people in the whole world. I mean, yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
even have to pay them to keep them around anymore. It's great.
We just give you all the loves.
I'm just like, started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Okay.
Hobby.
And Rosie is not vegan, but she is one of the most vegan friendly people I've ever met. We have talked about her before in the podcast about how we have so many vegan friendly friends, and Rosie is kind of the queen. So that's why she's here.
For someone who's not vegan, I have an ungodly number of vegan friends.
That is true.
I want to say like
us.
half of the people I consider like my best friends on the planet are all vegan. So I had to get very adept at vegan recipes over the years. So I'm fine with it. It's fun. It's a challenge. And
Yes.
I enjoy eating vegan too. Like there are times I just don't feel like eating meat. And I was practically raised vegetarian as a kid because my mom was vegetarian when I was born. And until I was about 8 or 9, I ate mostly vegetarian. So
That's really fascinating. I could see your mom being a vegetarian.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But today we're talking about Purple Carrot, which is a plant-based meal delivery system that all three of us have tried.
Oh, I thought I've just been eating purple carrots.
Okay.
Is that
Wow.
what we're doing?
They are
You've
delicious.
been waiting. You could see it on your face.
They
You've
are
been
delicious.
waiting for that.
I took to the stores like I'd pick a bag of purple carrots. So just like eating them straight up, dude. Is that
They
what
beat
we're
you.
doing?
I told you guys
Okay.
about my dream about like running away and starting a purple carrot farm and running a medieval food truck.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
that's
What?
that's what Rosie and I have been doing this whole time. What were you doing?
I hate you, David.
I think you're doing something different than the rest of us. Okay, this episode's not going to work. We'll have to go off. I'm going to stop recording.
I need to hear more about this dream, Rosie. I
right,
can't.
now that-
I need to hear
now that
why
we've-
specifically the purple.
Now that we've derailed
So
Megan
when
our
I
intro.
found out, so carrots were not originally orange. They
Right.
have been genetically altered to be orange over the years. They've been bred and altered. And they were originally different shades of purple and white and all of those things. And when I found that out, and I got really excited about heirloom vegetables, I really love digging into like the history of what people used to eat. Medieval history major that probably should have been more of like an archaeologist or something along those lines. But so I just got really excited about the idea of like purple carrots and heirloom tomato varietals and like tomatoes and rutabagas and like I bought a medieval cookbook that's like recipes from the medieval era, which is disgusting. You don't want it. But
Does not sound like we would.
no,
But
but the typical stuff you find at like a Ren fair, right? Like the meat pasties or like the veggie pasties and all those sorts of things. I've always had a dream, and like when I'm working my corporate or nonprofit jobs and I'm working 12-hour days, I just comfort myself with the fact of someday I'll run away and start an heirloom vegetable farm and have a medieval food truck, and that's my like
I
running
love
away
it.
from it all dream.
I just,
Um, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I love
You said,
this so much.
you said,
That's so you. I love it so much.
when you said vegetables pasties, I kept thinking of pasties. All I can see was somebody having like carrot like toppers.
Oh my God.
Okay.
David,
David.
that's for after we finish recording.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Come
Okay, I'll keep my
on.
shirt
Control
on then.
yourself.
Okay. All right. So now that we derailed Meg, maybe we can get back on track.
We'll get back to it. So what is purple carrot? It's basically like HelloFresh, but for vegans and vegetarians. Never heard of HelloFresh. So there are actually two options with purple carrot. Did not realize that till this morning when I was looking into it, even though I've been using it for 11 weeks. You can get the meal delivery system where you can make your own meals at home and you get all the ingredients, all the recipes directly to your door. It's amazing. Or you can get already prepared meals and get those delivered to your door that you can heat up. So we we're talking about the recipes and the ingredients being mailed to your home and not the prepackaged meals. So let's just clarify that. Didn't realize you could already buy them pre-made. I was like, well, that's even more tempting, but we're gonna control ourselves. So we're talking about getting all the ingredients delivered to your door, like the most convenient thing in the world. They have dinners, breakfast, lunch, and they have a pantry, which is like snacks. And they look pretty cool. I have only done dinners, which is the most common. But I want to try some of the other options, especially the breakfast. I think that looks pretty interesting. You can do 2 or 4 servings, and we'll talk about price at the end. I'll leave that till the very end, but you can get 2 or 4 servings. I'm going to talk about what I get personally, so we'll all talk about our little preferences, but I do the 3 meals a week, which is 2 servings, and they're a little bit larger of a portion size. At least it feels like it to me. So while it's 2 servings, 3 meals, it really feels like more to me because I don't eat a whole bunch in one sitting. So for me, I get even more servings than the average person, which is kind of a perk. A perk of being a weirdo who doesn't eat a lot in one sitting. But was given a free box that I could give away, and I gave one to David.
Hi.
David's
I've been
not going to have much to add.
I've been quiet the whole time because I like totally went crazy 2 seconds ago. No, yeah, no, I, because at first I told you I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not sure, but you're like, let's try it. Let's talk about it. Let's just this episode and talk about it. So,
Yeah,
I did it with skepticism.
That's how we'll start this. David is skeptical. I dove right in.
Yeah, I've been skeptical about doing any of the services. I'm like, is it going to be good? Is it going to take too long to cook? Is it going to be enough? Is it going to have enough protein in it? Because like I lift weights and stuff, so like making sure I have enough in there for that. Is the nutrition stuff is there? So I was skeptical of the whole thing going into it.
And what about you, Rosie?
I have done a variety of meal services over the years because I love to cook. First of all, I am a pretty damn good cook. I'll be honest.
Amazing cook.
Pretty damn good at it, and I enjoy it. However, with my busy work schedule, I don't have a lot of time. So I like knowing that everything's already there. I don't have to meal plan. I don't have to, figure out what I do and don't have in the pantry and all those sorts of things. So I have done meal delivery services of all kinds over the years, whether it was freshly or plated or Blue Apron.
Ooh, I've done plated before as well.
I
Hmm.
even did another vegetarian service. I did Hungry Root
Oh yeah, I've
Oh,
heard
a
of that
while
one. Yeah.
ago. Um, so this, trying purple carrot was not, something totally new for me because I've done a lot of them, but I wanted to really see what their quality looked like and what their there's a lot of variation in terms of complexity of the recipes and how much time do they actually take versus how much time do they think they take and also a big thing for me is how much can I play with the recipe because I do enjoy cooking so
that is a
I'm
good part of
I'm
it.
going to talk a
Yeah.
little bit about how much I like the recipes as they are but I also really enjoy tweaking them and making them my own so
Yes, yes, absolutely. I'll have some little tidbits about that as well.
Hmm.
Let's talk about reasons why we signed up. So I have quite a few. Like it wasn't just one reason there. I have a lot, but my main one was I deal with a lot of food waste. I don't always I make too much because my brain is day. And then my stomach, like I said, doesn't, consume as much in one sitting. So then there's food that goes to waste. I am the only vegan in my house. And while my family does eat some of the meals I make, they don't eat everything. So if I don't finish something, then sometimes it just goes to waste. Or if I have to buy a lot of an ingredient, a lot of the times it goes to waste. And I hate it. It makes me feel like crap. It makes me feel guilty. And I don't like wasting money. So meal waste, food waste was a big reason because everything comes proportioned for you. You're not going to have a ton of ingredient that you're never going to use again. And you're not going to make too much of a meal that you're not going to finish. So that is a big plus to me. I wanted some healthy meals, but I also wanted to try some new recipes. I am kind of a big baby about really trying things, even though I have like 15 vegan cookbooks, done a whole episode on first ones, go listen. But I don't really push myself to try. So I thought, well, this way I have no way to avoid it. So might as well go for it. And then eliminating grocery shopping. I hate it. Oh, do I hate grocery shopping? It's because I'm a mom. There was a point in my life when I shopped for four people, two of which were growing teenagers. Girls eat just as much as boys. I don't know which people we're ever talking about. So I want to go to the grocery store. So if I can avoid it, I will. So those were my reasons for getting into Purple Carrot. I have gotten what, like 11 boxes now. I've skipped 2 weeks because I went on vacation. My first little pro skipping is very easy. It's very, very, very easy. It's an option anytime. You can do it whenever you want. There's no like limit that I've seen. Super easy. So there's my first pro. Rosie, why'd you sign up?
Um, two main reasons. Number one was just the time it takes to meal plan and get the groceries and then prep everything. I was trying to do like meal prep on Sundays and, would make things to have for lunch and for dinner because after I work all day, I don't feel like
Yeah.
cooking. I usually don't have enough time to cook for a lunch. I very rarely take a lunch break. I'm usually grabbing something, throwing it in the microwave, and eating it at my desk while frantically, in between meetings or sending emails, whatever it may be. Marketing world, it's pretty common. Um,
Yes, it is.
so I needed something I could, kind of make ahead, kind of plan for, okay, I'm going to cook all my meals on this date. And I wanted to try some different flavor combinations. I kind of tend to gravitate towards the same things over and over. Um, and I thought this would be a good way to kind of branch out on my palate and try cooking some different things that maybe I wouldn't have thought of. And I also just wanted to get more plant-based food in my diet. I wanted more vegetables. I wanted, to go a little more plant-based. I've been trying to make a conscious effort to consume less meat and meat products. So I figured this was a good way to do that while also checking off those other boxes of convenience, less food waste, all of those things.
Making us dance over here. Those are
I
the words we
I
like to
support I
hear.
support your reasoning.
It's amazing. I totally agree with it's so nice to know that I don't have to look up any recipes. I don't have to go grocery shopping. I don't have to worry if I forgot an ingredient. That's a big pull towards this
Yeah.
is yeah, I like that part of it a lot.
And I never learned how to cook for just myself. So,
Yeah.
a little bit of personal info. I am now living on my own at 40 years old for the first time ever in my life. And I'm used to cooking for a house full of people. Used to take care of my grandmother, and my best friend was living with me, or my sister was living with me. And so we've always had multiple people in the house. And or even when I was cooking, when I was growing up, it was my parents and me and my sister. If I was cooking meals, I was having to cook for 4 people. I never learned how to cook in small amounts.
Right.
So this has been really good for that, because again, I found myself wasting a lot of food where I would cook something and it makes like 8 servings, and I'm like, well, I'm going to get tired of this. Also, I'm a person that hates eating the same thing every day.
Me too.
I tried a meal plan. I need variety in my life, in a lot of things,
Yeah.
really. Men,
Yes.
women,
Yes.
food,
Everything.
music, you name it. I like variety. Variety.
Yes.
It's the spice of life.
Life, as they say.
Yes.
So yeah, that was really appealing to me too. Of like, oh, I know I only have to eat this twice, right? So even if it's something I don't like, I can eat it twice and be fine with it, right?
Right. Exactly. So, David, why did you take your free box from me? Was it just because you wanted me to shut up and do an
You
episode?
made me do it. You made me do it. That's what it was. No, I mean, I've been curious because, like, I've talked on the show multiple times on meal plan. I don't always necessarily meal prep. Sometimes a meal prep. To me, the difference is, to clarify the language that I'm trying to use. Meal plan is like, here's what I'm going to eat every day this week. My breakfast is the same, so it never changes, but lunch and dinners are this. Where meal prepping is, I'm going to pre-cook something and have it ready. So I may meal prep rice. Like, I know I'm having something with rice for the week. I may make 4 servings of rice, but everything else gets cooked as I go, depending what it is. Because some stuff gets gross after you cook and it sits for a few days.
Yeah.
Broccoli, for example.
Uh-huh.
Ew.
I
So-
can eat broccoli after it's sat for several days. I don't
That's
care.
the worst.
David's like, ew. The longest ew ever.
Ernest P. Worrell there.
Oh,
No, I mean, you
God.
suggested it, and I was like, I already meal plan already, so it's not the barrier of entry wasn't that bad because it's something I'm used to doing anyway.
Mhm.
I'm used to, although unlike with Rosie, which I can understand, I eat the same. If I meal plan, I'm eating the exact same thing from Monday all the way until sometimes even Friday, depending what I make.
I can't do it.
Which is fine for me because it's for me because it's something I don't have to think about. If I don't have to think about it, I can focus my energy on other things. So if I know, if I know,
Rosie and I are looking at you like you are insane.
if I know
You
every
might be a
night,
serial killer.
If I
I'm
know-
so confused.
I
like,
see what you're saying there, though. Like, I
Right.
wish I could be that person
I
that
know.
didn't care and could just eat it. But like, I'll literally look at it in the refrigerator and just be like, ugh,
No,
I don't
not
want
again.
this
Well,
again. And then I end up pulling a frozen pizza or something out of the freezer. Although not that my freezer's big enough to have a frozen pizza, because my refrigerator was made in 1957. So my
God,
It's
freezer.
the
right.
cutest
It is cute.
fridge on the
So-
planet.
So that's another reason why I did this, because I like the idea of like, okay, I get my fresh thing delivered like the same day every week. It's not taking up a lot of time, a lot of space in my fridge
That's true.
and my freezer, and I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean, like, sorry, I got choked up there for a second. Refrigerator story. No, because like it's like even this week I planned like because I didn't get I didn't get the box this week because there's a mistake on my end and I canceled and it wasn't on purpose. I just messed up my mouse clicks.
What did
Fired.
you do,
But
David?
like
Right?
this, huh? But like this week,
What-
I don't know. It's I could take the whole episode explaining how stupid I am and do these stupid things. But
Oh, God.
like this week, my lunch every day this week is rice, chili beans, mixed veg medley, bell pepper, broccoli with barbecue sauce. That's my lunch every day this week, and my dinner is buffalo with the buffalo sauce Maggie gave me.
Ooh, I had some of that tonight.
It's
It was really
right?
good.
But
We're going to talk about it in an upcoming episode.
Damn right, we're
Oh,
doing it's a
very nice.
buffalo tempeh sandwich and zucchini fries. That's my dinner every day this week.
Oh my
It doesn't
God.
bother me because I don't have to think about it. But with one thing that did intrigue me, at least trying this, was I can still technically meal plan
Hmm.
without having, because also I get really tired of meal planning. Like one joke I've seen a bit is like, if someone told me that as being an adult I had to plan dinners every night for the rest of my life, I wouldn't do this.
No,
I would have
that's
opted out. I'm like, oh my god, I don't know. I'm not hungry right now. How am I gonna think of what I want every day?
try
Uh,
feeding other people.
I'm not.
Just
Oh well, then I'll.
try doing it for a whole family. It makes me want to stab
But
myself in the
here
face.
is technically the difference. Here's technically the difference between having people around to cook for. If you're not sure, you can at least have a conversation with someone else.
That's
I'm like,
true.
hey,
That's
what do you want
true.
this week? I don't know, pizza. With me, nobody. And Rosie,
That's
you,
true.
you can relate now that you're on your own. It's like there's nothing. Like, do I want chili? No. Do I want pizza? No. Do I want? And you're just going like, I don't know. So I'm on Instagram going like vegan dinner ideas and scrolling through Instagram and think whoever like makes me think of something. With this, I can still technically have a meal plan with that, so I don't have to think about it. But I do get the bit of a variety, which is nice.
Hmm.
So it's one you made me.
I
And
so pushy.
are we doing our pros and cons now? Or are we gonna get into those a little
We're
bit?
we're gonna talk about meals a little bit,
Okay,
but I just
so yeah, so I don't
don't
get
give
the
me
pros
too
and
much.
cons. But yeah, my main thing is you made me, and it's doing it
He
has
does what
intrigued
we
me
tell
for a
him
while.
to. It's very,
Hey man, he's
very
being
Yeah.
honest.
empathetic.
But and it has intrigued me for a while. It was an opportunity to try it because I've had some. Again, I came into this massively skeptical, like to the point where like this is going to be stupid. I'm going to hate every bit of this. That's how I came into it. But I've been wanting to try it to see if like my skepticisms were valid.
You also went into the skincare episode thinking, oh, skincare is so dumb, oh boy,
I
and
know
now
I
you
needed to
use
know.
all of it.
I was like I need to do it, but I'm not sure if it's any
I
worth
was
it.
wondering
Can
why
that-
he had such a glow about it.
He uses skincare
I have this
He's
apricot
got a
scrub,
routine.
and then I do have the apricot
You gotta
scrub with
take
little
care of
skin.
what you got, man.
Did that, and then I have like the starts with the DSM, whatever oily
Mm.
like
The
stuff.
Ordinary.
Yeah, I did that, and then I
Mhm.
had the
Oh, I love the ordinary.
I
squishy,
know.
like
We did a whole episode and talked about it, and I gave him like a list of products, and he tried them for a few weeks. It was a very good episode. Y'all should go listen to it. I'm just saying.
there's only
I
one
listened
product
to
I
it.
couldn't
I
use.
enjoyed it. And some of
Thank
those
you.
products I use, and I even picked up a couple of the ones I didn't use and tried them. So,
See,
I still use them. I had to replenish a couple weeks ago.
I know it was in your Amazon the other day. We were looking at it.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. So let's talk about our recipes that we liked. So again, I know, and I have been receiving these boxes for 11 weeks. So what I did was I went through each week and picked my favorites. So I have a bunch about. Rosie, how many weeks have you been doing purple carrot?
so I have been doing it for about 7 weeks now,
Okay,
but I
perfect.
skipped 1 week. So I've gotten 6 boxes.
Okay. And again, the skipping is really easy, which is
Yeah.
super, super convenient. So highly recommend that. Because there are some companies that don't make skipping very easy. I'm talking to you, Audible. I have to call you. That's bull. FYI. Okay. A little
So
mad,
Audible will
little
not be
mad
a sponsor of the show at any point.
today. No, they will not, because it makes me mad. Why should I call you?
Yeah.
Gosh,
Who wants to call anybody? It's 2021.
I don't want to.
God,
No
text
one
them.
wants to call anyone unless they have to.
Exactly. All right. So my very first week, I had no problem in my box. Everything showed up on time. Everything is packaged perfectly, and I really enjoyed the way that they keep things cold. It was great. So my first week, my favorite meal was the tofu marsala. Amazing, so good, holy crapness. And I was like, okay, I can do this is good. All right, let's try another week and see how it goes, because like the recipes I had were things that even my family tried to steal from me. And this is normally I'm like, yes, eat my vegan meals. This time I'm like, no. Calm down. These are mine. Just let me try them for a little bit before you start stealing things from me. I think it only lasts like 3 weeks before they start stealing from me, though. Just FYI. That's what it's like to have family.
Yeah.
What about your first week, Rosie?
So my first week, so I actually started out getting 2 meals, but with 4 servings each, thinking, oh, I'll have 4 lunches and 4 dinners for the week. forgetting that I don't like to eat the same thing every day. So I did that for 2 weeks, and then I was like, no, I'm going to change my plan. But so for the first week, I only had 2 meals, but one of them was this Korean bibimbap that
That's on
was
my list.
so good with the roasted beets
Yes.
and the
Mhm.
crispy rice. Yes.
Yes, very, very good.
That one is still like probably in my top three. Like it was just so good.
Yes.
And then my second week, again, I only got two, but they had these like tikka masala stuffed sweet potatoes with cauliflower.
Ooh.
So it was like a cauliflower and chickpea mix, like masala, like Indian curry spice thing
Right.
over a roasted sweet potato. Oh my God. It's so warm and comforting. And even though it's like the middle of summer, I didn't care.
Right.
Like, this is
Mhm.
delicious and I could eat this every day.
David eats a lot of sweet potatoes, and I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of these recipes you would really like because they do that. I had one my first week that was barbecue glazed sweet potatoes. So they like made I made almost like fries out of the sweet potatoes and barbecued them. So they were very, very good. So I feel like those are recipes you would really like.
Yeah, because it's funny. Like the ones that I got my first, I only done it 1 week, so my first box, and the one that's coming up, there's no sweet potatoes at all.
Oh man.
I'll talk about some pros and cons with that though.
Yeah. And I don't, this is another thing I didn't even think to mention, but I don't pick my meals for the week because you can go through and like change them
Oh,
up. I
interesting.
don't. I just go full surprise me because I mean, sometimes there's been one week where I did switch one only because I think it had like olives as one of the main ingredients, and I hate olives. So that was the
Yeah.
only time I've ever switched them. But for the most part, I'm just like, go for it. I don't care. I don't, whatever. That sounds good.
Yeah,
I have a
I've already
different
did what?
like I have a different logic. I go in and I look at all of them and I pick two that I know I'm gonna like
Uh-huh.
because I know I tend to like Asian inspired flavors. So if it's Chinese, Japanese, Korean, whatever, I usually pick something along those lines. I also know I tend to like Italian flavors. So I usually pick, things I know I'm gonna like, and then I kind of pick one that I'm maybe not sure about, right, of the others.
Ooh, I like
To try and like
that.
kind of branch out my palate a little bit. So like one of the ones that I liked that I was actually really surprised that I really liked was the uh, the New England lobster rolls made with hearts of palm.
Okay. That is not only on my list, but it has 2 stars next to it. Is one of my top three. One of my
Right?
favorite meals ever. It was
It
so
was one of
good.
my favorites. And it was so
Oh,
light and refreshing with the like those pepper potato wedges.
so
And
good.
it was like a great summer meal. I was like, man, I would make this for like a barbecue or, something
Yes.
like that. Like it was really good. And that's one thing I like about getting the more meals too, getting the 3 meal plan instead of the 2 meal
Hmm.
plan, is that I get more variety that way. And I can pick those different flavors that I like, but then kind of surprise myself and kind of learn other techniques, right?
Yeah.
I've never even made lobster rolls with lobster before, let
Right.
alone made them with hearts of palm. So I'm kind of learning. I feel like I'm expanding my culinary repertoire
Ooh,
to throw
fancy.
out my vocabulary words of the week.
It's one of
That
one.
is
It's one of
so
college
true.
words.
So
Oh
so
gosh.
that's been kind of my logic in terms of how I pick and plan and choose, because I'm a little anal in that I do like to pick my meals.
David, I know you pick yours. There's no way you go surprise.
Um, yeah, I look. So it's one of those like I look. They have like if I go if I kind of do it like this. If I look what they're gonna offer, like because they for those who don't know, they have like three. They automatically select for you if you do the three. I did the 3 meal.
Mm.
And then you can change them as you were saying. So they go, here's the three we're gonna give you. Cool. And
Right.
I looked and I was like, yeah, that's cool. But if I see one that's like, I don't know if I like that or not, then I
Yeah.
look. Like there's one coming up in a couple months that if I continue with this, that had artichokes in it. I do not like artichokes.
Right.
Do not. I never have. I've tried. Every now and then I try and go, ew, gross, and I don't like artichokes.
Right.
So it was like a roasted artichoke, but I was like, no, sir. And I switched it out. I was like, I will eat anything other than this.
Right.
Switch that out. But I do look. But yeah, they're pretty good about like because if I look at it, I go like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I like tofu with spicy shit. Let's do that. So I kind of I'll
Right.
fuck with it. But if it's something I like, I probably won't like. Then I go and see if there's another option. I think the meal for like the next one that's coming. Um, I think I think it was there's like miso coconut ramen bowl that's coming,
Yeah.
Ooh,
and I was
that sounds good.
unsure because it has radishes. I'm not really I mean I don't hate radishes. I'm not a big
Love
radish
radishes.
fan. Something about them that just like weird to me.
So I
I
used to hate radishes, but I love them roasted.
Yes.
think I've had them
Just had
roasted.
them recently. Remember Brittany? Shout out to Brittany. She told us, remember, she told me that she roasted a bunch of radishes and I tried it one night and oh my gosh, you have to try it. Everybody, garlic roasted radishes.
I'll,
Yes,
I'll give it
go.
a shot. I have had that before. I'll give it a shot.
So
But
good, so good.
no, cause I only had one box. You guys have had a lot of time, a lot of ability to compare and contrast. Would you like with in my box? I liked the General Tso's tofu.
Yes, that's on my list
Oh,
too.
bro,
Oh, it's so good.
It
it's
was
so
so
good.
So
good.
good.
The other ones were to me kind of like, eh, because
Okay,
it
but
had
that one was
the
good.
Romanesco grain bowl was okay. It seemed a little weird. I like more sauce with my stuff. And the tempeh Thai is the Thai tempeh cow soul whatever. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. It was good. It's just, I don't know. Something about it just kind of like yeah, it's pretty good, but it's just no. But the General Tso's tofu was super good.
The bowl that you just mentioned,
Yeah,
that is the one meal that I didn't like out of everything I've had, which 11 boxes, that's 33 recipes.
yeah.
I haven't had any repeats also, which is also pretty cool. I didn't like that bowl and I
I
can't remember what is it called again?
the Thai tempeh one.
No, the other
Oh,
one.
the Romanesco.
Yes, did not like
Okay.
it. Did not at all.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I will say that they must know that I like flatbreads. They must know that like that because I've had three meals and they're all three are on my list of favorites because they've all been amazing. So a Mediterranean flatbread, a summer squash flatbread, and a pesto flatbread.
Wow.
The summer squash is one of my you make like a sauce with the squash and like it's like a
Mm.
creamy sauce you put on the flatbread. Um, and then it's got like a bunch of vegetables and they use I think that's the one that has the tree line cheese and that's my favorite brand of vegan
Mm-hmm.
cheese. I got so excited. I made a noise really loud and my husband came out of his office like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Jeez." He was like, "What is wrong with you?" He thought something I was hurt or I'd like cut myself or something. I was like, "No, you just have my favorite cheese." Oh, I have problems. But
Don't we
yes, they
all?
give me a lot of flatbreads, which is thing. I why, but they're all versions have been amazing. So if you guys see a flatbread coming up, get it.
Yeah, I haven't ordered any of those. I've
Yeah.
thought about it, but I never actually got because I'm like, is that going to fill me up? I don't know. So I'll try one next time because
Um,
I'm going to keep doing this. Just spoiler alert. Um, like
Me too.
I'm going to keep doing these because it does help with my food waste. It also just helps with my budget stuff. We'll get into the
Mhm.
pricing later, but
Yep.
yeah, I'm going to keep doing this. I like
Yes.
it. It simplifies my life.
Absolutely. There is
So
one more recipe I want to talk about, and let me see if I can find it and pull it up because it was so good. It's called a mushroom cheddar black bean burger. And I don't always like a homemade burger where you have to put it all together. Sometimes they don't stay together very well. You know, it's just not always my favorite thing. But I love mushrooms, and this had like a fajita seasoning, black beans. It gave you the flour. It gave you cheddar cheese. It had a really nice bun. Their buns that you get, I don't know if you
Good.
they're really good. I've had experiences when I did plated where the buns were kind of harder and like they didn't always come very fresh and soft. But I have had, I guess this is a pro that we'll start talking about in a second, but I haven't had any issues with freshness. I haven't had anything that went bad. My bread is always nice and soft. So, well, it's amazing. But this mushroom cheddar black bean burger, again, if you guys see that one, you have to get it. It was amazing. But I do think those lobster rolls are my top thing. It's my
I,
favorite recipe.
one of my other top recipes that I got were the Taiwanese tofu lettuce cups with dates and ginger jasmine rice.
Holy crap,
Crazy.
I want those.
They were so good. And they're just like what they said. So it was like this gingered, like highly seasoned rice, chopped up dates. So it gave it a little bit of sweetness. There was like cloves and cilantro and cashews and like, so it was like crunchy and it had all of these like flavor, like layers of flavors.
Mhm.
I was really, really surprised at how well it all came together because originally I was like, you're mixing Asian flavors with like dates and cloves. And I'm like, I mean, I know clove is used in a lot of Asian cooking, but I was just like, I wasn't quite sure, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice on this one and try it. Because I do love a good lettuce wrap. And
Yeah.
those, again, so light and refreshing, like,
Mhm.
especially for a lunch. Like when I didn't feel heavy, after eating it, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, that one was, if you see that one, you should definitely add it to your list to try.
Absolutely. My family definitely stole some of these recipes from me, so I didn't actually get to finish them myself, little thieves, but um I do encourage them. After I tried a few of them, I was like, fine, you guys can have some, but they liked the curried carrot fritters
Ooh, those
and the spicy mango tempeh. Woo, that was so good. But I know myself, so I don't ever put the full amount of spice in a dish. I'm always like, nah, nah. I'm just gonna do some, not too much. Also, I hate cilantro, but I
Mm.
don't want them to eliminate recipes with cilantro because I can just not put it in and it's just as good. Like I just don't
yeah.
include it. It's fine. It does feel like wasteful, of course. That does make me feel bad, but whatever. I'm at least
But at
doing
least
better in other ways.
the way they package things, though, I feel like even if you decide to use less, you're throwing away like a tablespoon. You're not throwing
Mhm.
away, you know, a pound of cilantro. like,
That's very
you
true.
know,
Very
I'm the same
true.
way. I don't love cilantro. I don't hate it. It doesn't taste like soap to me, but it's just not one of my favorite flavors.
I like
So
cilantro.
I
Mhm.
tend to like scale back the amount of cilantro in a recipe. And I'll still include it, but I'll adapt it to what I prefer. And I adapt these recipes like crazy. Like I'll throw more ginger in if it's got ginger in it because I know I love that flavor.
Right.
So I make a lot of tweaks. I'll even add other vegetables in if I just
I
have
do
to add
that.
them.
Hmm.
Like in those lettuce cups, I added chopped bell pepper. When I, just put everything in the skillet, I'm like, why not? I've got bell peppers. Sure, I'll throw that in there. Also,
Yeah, and we're
spinach.
not we're not adding vegetables just because we feel like we need to, like the recipe needs it. It's not
Yeah,
that, it's just because they're there and we want to use them and it just makes it better. So I just want to clarify that because I don't want people to think that I feel like the recipes aren't good enough. They're definitely good
yeah,
enough. But like if I have extra spinach that I need to use up, I can throw that into anything.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if it's in the fridge or I need to use it, it definitely helps a lot to be able to just throw something else in there.
Like with that curry dish, I had some frozen peas, and I'm like, I could use a little more green stuff in my life today. So I threw some peas in it, and it's like none of these recipes need it, but I also like the fact that if I do those additives, I can usually get 3 meals out of it instead of
Mm,
just two.
that is
So
true.
that's another thing is, and especially if you like to cook and you know what flavors you like, sure, adapt the heck out of the recipes. But I think these recipes are also simple enough that if you're not as comfortable in a kitchen, you can still accomplish and pull a lot of these off. So that's going to be in my part of my pros list. But
I think
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm like a purist in it where I don't want to add anything to it. Not
I
that
could see
not that
that.
I'm knocking
that
anyone.
doesn't
It's like
surprise me
I'm like
all day.
Yep.
that's not a
Nope, not at
list.
all.
That's not a step in this list. So I'm not going to do that thing. And
I
also,
am.
I had caused me to think
That is
some
your
extra.
OCD like rearing its ugly head right
Yeah,
there.
I can't because like it doesn't say to add peas. I'm not adding peas because that could change the flavor profile, which I do not want to do because this was designed in a certain way to have a certain
Oh my
flavor.
God, I love you so
I
much.
feel like me and David are the perfect like polar opposite examples of like a left brain person versus a right brain
Oh
person.
God, I have tears.
Now ginger, garlic. Oh, I'm like I got extra garlic. Let's see where's my
Oh
garlic
yeah.
at. I'll
I love that
Well,
they give you a whole head of garlic and you
it
do
doesn't
not
matter if
need it.
most recipes call for like 1 or 2 cloves, which come on, who actually only puts one or
Yeah,
two cloves of garlic in
exactly.
anything?
here's the whole head and some
But they will
powder
send
and
you just a
granules.
whole bunch of garlic. Like you
Yes,
get
they're
the
like,
whole
we
thing.
know.
So we know.
A child, we know
So
what's
because
up.
like I like triple the amount of garlic anything
Yeah.
calls for. Because same thing with ginger. Because I am a ginger who loves ginger. What can I
Oh,
say?
look at you. Look at
Um,
you.
You get a whole thing of ginger too. They give you like a whole hand.
Yep.
I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
babe, we doing this.
like a piece the size
Yep.
of your thumb when you only need like a teaspoon, and it's
Which and in those instances, those are things that I'm okay with getting a little bit of extra, like I'm glad they don't give me, of like an herb or anything because that would be kind of wasteful. But um let's talk about some of the things we do love because I want to talk about these recipe books.
yes. Oh my god, I love them so much.
They put all of the recipes in there. Like,
Even for the meals you don't get.
Yeah.
You're not just getting a
yes,
card or two. You're getting the book of
of
every
all of
recipe
them.
you could choose from for that week, including the breakfasts, including
Yeah.
the lunches, and like it's so thoughtfully laid out. There's
Mhm.
pictures. I've kept all the recipe books.
Me too.
Like
Like,
I've got
look at
I've got a
me.
little folder.
I've got them. I love them. One of them got thrown out, I think, and I was very heartbroken. I was like, that is intellectual property
I wonder if we
you've
can
thrown
write on
away.
fresh and get them to send you one.
I mean,
sure they
well, I
would.
went directly on their website because the recipes are also on there, not for the ones you didn't
Right.
get, but the ones. So, like that week, I was like, oh no, I think it got left in the box. I don't have my recipes. So I just signed in, and all of your recipes for that week are digitally right there on the website. I love these books. I think they're so helpful. And I also think it's insane that they're giving me all these recipes. Like, you shouldn't. I mean, you should. Thank you, Purple Carrot. But it just seems like, wow, you're giving me too much. But I appreciate it because that also, you have to think about it when we do talk about price in a little bit. That is part of it. You're getting all these recipes. Now I can freaking go and make any of these. Granted, I have to buy the
It
full
actually-
ingredients, but I love this. I have
Also-
a freaking
Well-
cookbook right here.
Well,
And another pro for me are the freebies they throw in.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten several, like I got a package of like vegan hot dogs thrown in with my order for free.
I did too once. Yep.
And on my last order, I got some samples of like these vegan like candies.
Oh,
huh.
Yeah. So I don't know how they decide who gets what or when
right.
you get what, but I love these samples because I do love trying new foods. I like trying new things.
Mhm.
You know what? Those hot dogs totally came in handy when I didn't know what I wanted to eat one night for dinner, and I'm like, I have hot
Okay.
dog buns, vegan hot dogs.
They did that to me too.
Sure.
Because it was like a sausage night, I think. Like I was making some kind of sausage meal and they also threw in a thing of hot
Was it
dogs
the
and I was
Italian sausages with the pimento cheese.
yes.
I think that
Yes,
was
it was.
hot
Yeah.
yes.
And I was like, I think they accidentally gave me some hot dogs. Woo! I was like, I like that. That's nice.
David, what are your pros?
Yeah, it can be a pro, David.
a pro. A pro. Not that I'm trying. Not that I'm trying to think of one. Is that there's? I'm trying to think of one that wasn't what you already said. But I think for me it was. It's I like that it's flavor. That it. Okay, I'm trying to think. I have a few pros. I'm trying to pick one. So I like the fact that it is flavorful. One of my concerns was it would be bland because I was concerned that a meal plan that was intended to conform essentially for multiple, like for a random amount, random people, would be mostly bland. To not,
I can see why you would think that. Yeah, okay.
But it
Yeah,
very
it's
much was
trying to
not.
appeal to the masses. I get it.
Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
like, it'll be like, yeah, it's be very bland, probably only flavor to it, which it did. That was not true by any stretch. You could adjust it, I'm sure, if you didn't want certain things. You could make it bland, but if you use everything in it, it's a lot of flavors to it, which was nice. And there, even like the General Tso was like I like spicy, but it was spicier than I thought it would be for something for a box like this.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely.
and then with that, there's also usually prepared meals. You have to deal with a lot of extra sodium, which
Hmm.
sodium is not bad, but too much of it is Meg is can be. And prepared meals, whether it be frozen or fresh, that comes like you put it together, they have all these sauces and stuff put into it that can be like overly have way too much sodium in them. And that wasn't the case.
Because a
So
lot of the ingredients are super fresh. Like they are literally just some
that's
Yeah.
vegetables
You're
right.
making a lot of your
or
sauces from scratch, which I
Exactly.
like.
Mhm.
So
So
I mentioned that to a friend of mine that this it's whole it is very much whole food plant based.
yes.
yeah.
I think the only thing you get, the only thing that I got that was pre made was like a curry. It's like a curry sauce.
Mm.
It was pre
They
made.
they sent like a curry spice mix, but I still like the curry that I made. Like it was still like, here's your can of tomatoes, here's the
Hmm.
curry spice mix, here's the coconut milk. Like
Yeah, I think it was
you're
something.
gonna cook the onion and the ginger and all of those things to put this
Oh no,
curry
you know what it
sauce.
was? It was the Thai. There was like a Thai sauce that they had that was pre
Mm,
made. It was that
Oh
one that was pre
yeah.
made. So, but
Hmm.
everything else was like put the almonds in the blender with the red
Yes.
peppers and you made
yeah,
this you made the romanesco sauce yourself. I'm like, okay, I know what's in this. So it's
Yeah.
very much whole food plant based. You're not worried about getting, you're not gonna get a lot of added sodium, a lot of like preservatives. If you're worried about that sort of stuff, a lot of dyes, things like you're not gonna get that. It's very much you're making it from whole food plant based. So there's no concerns there. I like that. That
okay.
was couple of my my pros.
I also
Yeah.
like, this is another pro for me on the website. When you are picking your meals, they have so many different things that you can filter by. So for me, I'm trying to be I'm trying to be a little more health conscious and try to choose things under a certain calorie level because I'm trying to work at a calorie deficit right now. And they have things that are like less than 600 calories per serving. So
Hmm.
then I know that, these are the things I need to be looking at. And but not all of them are, right? So there are some that are a little more rich, or
Mm.
Yeah.
maybe are on a different place. Some of them are gluten free, some of them are, you know I mean, everything's dairy free, but like, you can kind of pick and choose and see like what, some of them are low carb, right? So you
Yeah.
you can see like what you're getting. So if you do have those kind of dietary restrictions, or you're trying to follow a certain dietary plan, it's very easy to find meals that fit within that. And like David was saying, since they're whole foods, if they're even foods that you can't eat, you can see what's in them when you're picking the meal.
Yep.
Like, it gives you the ingredients list, so you can see if there's something you can't eat there.
Yeah, it's talking about the the gluten free stuff like that and the different options there. When you sign up, they ask you like they give you like a choice of preference, and it's gluten
Hmm.
free, quick and easy, high protein.
Yeah.
So and then all your meals about dick. I picked high protein because again, I do strength exercises. So all my
Right.
meals are it may be gluten free, but they're all high protein option. That's all they're gonna do.
Yep.
So I can switch out if I want to. But it's going to default to the the higher protein option because that's what I chose. Which I do like that. I like having that option. That was another concern. I would just get like, here's a salad with some nuts on it. I'm like, that's not, dude. I just spent 2 hours in the gym lifting weights. I need something that's gonna this has good protein. It can sustain me and actually fill me up. I'm not in the the
Yep.
kitchen 5 minutes later trying to find food because I'm starving. So that was nice.
Yeah, they definitely let it make it so it's easy to be catered to whatever you're looking for, but also stay in that whole food plant-based realm, which is really nice. We talked about how the ingredients come in a small amount, and we all love that. There's a lot of a less food waste. The only thing I really have had any like waste with, I guess, is just if I don't like a meal, but everything else I just finish everything. I mean, there are some like some of the herbs there are a little bit too much for my preference, but then I just save them for another recipe that I use. Like I have extra basil. Let me just make like a pasta dish later on because now I have all this fresh basil they sent me. But I've only had that one dish that I didn't like. And I just put too many roasted peppers in the sauce. Maybe that just throws me off for some reason, but that's more my fault than the recipe's fault.
Mhm.
But one of my pros is so stupid, but you're both gonna love it. Um, the little containers, those little
They're so
jars.
They're so
cute.
cute.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I
I've
love
saved all of
them.
them.
Me
I've rinsed
too.
them. I've cleaned them.
Yep. I
I've
use
saved them.
them. I'm going to give you some things you can use them for. One, you can use them for any like leftover sauces you have, whatever. You can make your own health shots in them. You know how
Oh,
we get those
Ooh,
health
good
shots
idea.
from Whole
Yeah,
Foods? You could
yeah.
definitely use those. You can also propagate plants. So, got a little story for you. Purple carrot, I hope you hear this because this makes me laugh. So, one of my recipes had bok choy, and when I cut the end off, it was just so beautiful and perfect, and I was like, let's see what happens. So I stuck two toothpicks, one in each side. I put it in one of the little purple carrot containers without the lid, some water. I have a giant like bush coming off of this bok choy. I am growing bok choy from purple carrot. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm propagating in the little baby containers you gave me. It is the cutest little thing. But these containers are usable. You could put makeup. I used them when we traveled out of town. I put our
That's what I've
moisturizer
been
in
using
there.
mine for. Yeah.
Yep.
I've got my travel kit that has like my shampoo and conditioner and like I got put little labels on them, you know.
They're
Yeah,
super handy and they're
very handy.
adorable.
And I've used some of them for crafting supplies.
Yes.
You know, I've got like some beads and things that I've been working on and some different art projects. So yeah, no, I've definitely been a fan of those little tiny containers because they're adorable because I love tiny things.
And it's like the only thing that isn't, like biodegradable or
Yeah,
breaks down or whatever. They
they're
give
still
you,
recyclable, but
yeah, like everything. They give you full instructions on how you can properly dispose of everything they give you so that it does the least amount of harm.
right.
So I find that amazing for a company to do.
And
High five.
I know in my area, everything in that box is recyclable.
Right.
So, like, I can break down the cardboard boxes. That's another thing with a lot of the meal plan things. Some people talk about all the waste that's generated with all these boxes going out. Well, they're insulated with paper product,
Mm-hmm.
which is recyclable. The cardboard box is recyclable. The freeze packets, the contents of the packet can be flushed down the drain and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
harm the water ecosystem, and the plastic bag that it comes in is recyclable. It's a number one plastic. So like it's so easy because that was my concern. That's one reason when I was doing Freshly and
mine
some of the other
too.
meal kits I stopped because I'm like I'm generating more waste than I am, you know, like if I was just doing shopping and cooking on my own, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, but that's one thing I have been, and honestly, since my sister is moving out, I've been saving the big boxes so she can pack up her stuff so she can get the heck out of my house. I got a nice big stack of boxes waiting for her.
I got you some. Look at you, David. We
Yeah,
know.
there's
We
a
know.
box with stuff
We
packed.
know.
There's a purple carrot box with plates and bowls in it right now.
Amazing.
If you know, you know.
You know. Oh my God.
Um,
We've talked about a lot of pros.
Well,
You
what-
know,
what-
we've
I-
talked about like our like we love the unique recipes, we love the little bit of waste, we love the delivery. Do we have any more, David?
I
Do
have
we
one
another
more.
pro?
I think this is important. And
Ooh,
it's
I'm excited.
yeah. And that's serving size being a pro.
Oh, okay.
I think if you're
The
someone
thing you were most skeptical on?
most skeptical on was serving size. My concern was always been with these is that I would get something, and I'd make it, and then it's a few hundred calories. You know, you're a cat. What's up?
I
Oh,
did
can you
hear
hear my
that.
kittens?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
I'll-
right. No, you're fine. I was like, because I had like 5 cats in my house. I'm like, okay, what's happening? No,
I have-
so
I have
Yeah.
very, very hungry 6-week-old kittens.
you have a
so-
brood. But
we won't keep you too much longer.
right.
We're sorry, kittens.
I have, but I was worried about serving size because it always my concern was that these services were geared towards people who don't need to consume as much.
Okay.
People who aren't like necessarily like in the gym or working out or or anything like that would need to consume a higher calorie. Though I'm not trying to I'm trying to lose a little weight, fat wise, so I need a higher protein, lower calorie, which these are. But again, it was the serving size I was concerned about. I don't. And again, if I'm doing this as part of a way to like save trips to the store and save money and that sort of stuff, which we talk about pricing in a little bit. I don't want to eat something and then 30 minutes I'm in the kitchen trying to like, hunt around and add a bunch more calories to my diet that I don't need, making a peanut butter sandwich and stuff. Because I don't keep a lot of extra food and snacks in the house.
Right.
Because I was a husky child, and husky child wants to eat everything that's in my house. And I know that about myself, so I keep it under wraps, which is why I didn't go get candy today, even though I really wanted candy today.
Oh, look at you with willpower.
I'll
What is that like?
I'll get candy this weekend, don't worry.
Yeah.
But my concern was serving size, and I was full every meal, which I
I'm
didn't think
so
I
happy
didn't
about
think I would
that.
be. I figured I'd be like, that was good, but what else do I have here? No, I had no problem with being full every meal. So that was my pro is serving size. If you're, especially someone who has a higher calorie need or someone who is physically active and you need to consume a little bit more of your calories, and your higher protein, because every meal I had was like 25, 30 grams protein per. It's a good option. It's a good choice for that. You don't need to worry about it as much.
Yep.
I love that you love that. I've been so like nervous about what you would say about the serving sizes because I don't know how to judge for normal people because again, I eat a very small amount in one sitting. So I'm like, I don't know. Is it going to make David happy? I have no idea. I was so nervous about that. So let's talk about some cons. So we just said that, but there were a few recipes that were a little small portioned for me. There definitely were. I can't specifically remember which ones they were at this moment, but there were definitely a few where I was like, I should have added like extra to it, or you know what I mean? There was one, I think it was those Bombay potatoes. They're amazing, but they gave me like three potatoes. I'm like, I don't know who you're feeding, but so I just went and grabbed some potatoes. But I was just like, if I left it this size, I probably wouldn't be super satisfied at the end. So I guess there's kind of a give and take, but majority of the portions have been wonderful. There are a few outliers in that.
I would say that was probably one of my least favorite meals were the crispy Bombay potatoes because they're just, and to be clear, they weren't three like Idaho potatoes. They're
No.
like little tiny new potatoes, right?
Yes.
Like I was the same way. I'm like, yeah,
What?
no. So like I definitely was like, I'm gonna have to supplement and add something to this. So yeah, I think the only con I've really had is that the delivery days are a little limited in terms of what day of the week you can choose.
Oh,
You can change your day.
Like, huh?
You can change the day.
You can change the day, but like I really wanted to get my boxes delivered on Saturday because I like to cook on Sunday and just have everything like ready to go, or at least like pre-cook the things I can pre-cook.
right.
But it's like the only options are during the week. So my box comes on Tuesdays, which
Same.
Mine too.
so a lot of times what I find myself doing is like having to freeze things or like put things away in such a way that it'll hold until like Friday. So then I can cook on Friday night or on Saturday and then I'll have it to eat the following week. So I think that's my only con is like, if they could have a Saturday delivery, I would be a full convert.
What do you think about that, David? What's your delivery day?
My delivery day is Tuesday.
Okay, so that must be a Georgia thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're not exactly close to each other.
No.
So that'd be a Georgia thing.
It kind of. See, I would rather it be on Sunday.
Right.
Primarily because like that's when I go to the grocery store. So my like when I don't have this happening, this whole thing happening to me, and and I'm doing it myself. I usually go to the store on Sundays. I get something. Usually, I get something for dinner that I can have for lunch on Monday, and then I'm going to make. And then that means dinner for Monday becomes lunch on Tuesday. Or if I meal prep, then I'm making like a whole thing lasagna on Monday night, and that's going to be Monday's dinner, and then. So it really depends on what I'm cooking. But the gig on Tuesday means I'd have to have dinner, lunch, and lunch for Sunday and Monday, and then cook on Tuesday. So it kind of messes my day up and shifts my meal
Yeah.
prep. Because usually I do Monday through Thursday meals, right? And I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind like having to have Sunday, Monday, like dinner from Sunday become Monday's lunch, and then cook dinner. That's fine. But
Right.
usually Fridays is when I do like I order lunch and dinner, and I'll go out or whatever. So it shifts my days, which makes it a little weird. I don't like that. If I could have it shift to come in on a Monday or come in on a Sunday, I'd be happier that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see if you can change. If I can change the day to Monday, I make me a little happier. But Tuesday definitely kind of puts a kink in the works when it comes to my meal planning, and it can actually increase my overall food cost because I'm having to compensate for that day.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Any other cons?
Yes.
I knew it. I knew
um,
it.
One thing I didn't like is I feel like there's way too much fat and oil used in cooking.
Okay.
Um,
I'd agree with that. I
y-
think
Mm-hmm.
they over, like, they'll say you need like 4 tablespoons of something. And I'm like, nah, if you're using a decent nonstick, you really
yeah.
don't need that. Like,
I think a lot of people
Yeah.
will use like fats are tasty, delicious, and they make food taste good. I think that kind of adds. That's part of it. Um, like with the General Tso tofu, I didn't like they said like to pan fry it, and then I air fried it.
Yeah, I did too.
I used no oil and I air fried it, and it
Mm-hmm.
came out
Me too.
I came out really good. I had no problems
yeah,
with it.
I
Um,
roasted it in the oven. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
See,
it's just
exactly.
it's a lot less mess that way too.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and it's just
Um,
yeah, I couldn't.
yeah,
So
I
we
would
took
agree
a
with that.
con and we all changed it to make it, in our way. We fixed it. There's ways to
Yeah.
get around their fat use.
Yeah,
So
But if you're not as familiar with cooking, you may not know that.
that's
I
true.
think
That's
that's
very
something
true.
that too you have to, like, we're all pretty well versed in how to cook at this point. We've all been doing
Right.
right.
it for a while, but I know a lot of people out there that have no idea how to cook.
That's
Like, they're
true.
learning.
I
And I think in some ways this is a good way to learn because the recipes are
oh
very
for
easy to
sure.
follow, and
That's true.
they really go into like all of those steps in detail. But I agree that I think they're a little too liberal with some of there's also a lot of things where they're like pan fried and an inch of oil, and it's like, yeah, you don't have to. You could
No,
roast it and still get it that crispy, or air fry it if you've got an air fryer,
right.
or
Right.
you could even just like do like a you don't have to use that much oil to even pan fry something, right? Like, you can just, if you know what you're doing and can watch it on, you can, if you've got some decent cast iron, you really don't need that much oil.
Well,
So,
even then
um,
the Romanesco ball had the mushrooms with it, and they cook it in this like giant thing of vegan butter.
Oh my gosh. I still have it because there is no way I would have ever used that much
I
butter.
used it. I was like, okay, if you say
Oh my
so.
gosh,
And
David.
I'm
I'm
like,
so shocked.
what have I done to myself? I'm gonna have a stomach ache later because it was
I
just
used like half of it. It was
wow.
insane.
and the butter. I'll be honest with you, because that butter was disgusting.
Oh,
Did you try
yeah.
it? I tried it. Like I just like tasted it. I was like,
I
this
didn't
tastes. It
taste it.
tasted like yellow oil. It didn't taste like no
Oh
butter. It was very
man.
bad.
Well, pick a better butter, purple carrot.
Yeah. Either I think they need to offer an alternative because people are trying to avoid heavy fats because especially if you're trying trying hard healthy, added oils are bad for you if you have a heart condition if you're trying to like get heart healthy and avoid added fats because a lot of added fats are empty calories. They just add calories to it and they don't really no, you need fats. I'm not saying fats are not need to be included in a diet. That's not what I'm saying. But a lot of additional added fats that are not part of a whole food that can be a problem, especially again if you're be heart healthy.
Yeah.
Which
Because
was
you
an
add saturated
episode
fats
3 episodes
three
ago,
episodes
all
ago.
about heart healthy vegan
That's
food.
it.
Go listen to it.
Because
Listen, I gotta do that every
I know
time.
you're good. I appreciate it because I'd forget. I'd be like, "What episode was that?" But because they add a lot of saturated fats when you do that, which again, we need fats in our diet. I'm not anti-fat at all. You need fats in your diet, but I think I would have liked them to say, do this or fry this in like a gallon of oil, or you can steam fry, right? Or you can air
Yeah.
fry it. Like for me going forward, if I get something that's like saute these vegetables in olive oil or whatever oil, no, I always steam fry. I put a little water in the pan, steam fry it. That's
Mhm.
how I always cook my veggies. I have never a problem with it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have canola oil and olive oil in the house just in case I need a little bit because some stuff is just too dry and it's just gonna turn into like a stick and dry out if you don't. But generally speaking, I think there's the oil content, the added fat oil content. That's something that I'm definitely going to like adjust going forward. I did not like that at all.
I agree, especially with that freaking vegan butter. I mean, they filled the entire
It was
container. It
way
was
too much.
it was so stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
if I have another con if no one else has one.
Go for
I
it.
have cons. I'm saying I came
I
in
knew you
skeptical.
would,
I
but at
came in
least there's a pro in
skeptical.
there too.
Yeah. Um. I don't like. Okay. So the problem okay. I first off, my box got delayed twice.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes. So
Yes.
so at first, because I went in there and basically my first box was coming, I went in there and just basically said like I turned off all incoming ones because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep doing this. So I was like, I want just the first one, and I'm going to uncheck all of them and say turn off, turn off, turn off, turn off. And I thought I got laid because I did that. So I went and
Mm-hmm.
undid it. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, purple carrot gods for like telling you I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'll leave it alone. And then it got delayed another week. So it had nothing to do with that. So I got delayed 2 weeks in my box. So that was a bit frustrating.
Really?
Yeah. So
I have not had any delays. Every single box has been delivered on
Me
time.
too.
I don't know why I got delayed, but
Do you think maybe it's because it's the free box?
maybe that's what it was. Maybe they're like I wasn't as important, which
Yeah, which is not nice. It's
which
not
I
good
should be the-
customer service.
well, it should be the person who gets the free one should be the most important because you're gonna have to
Exactly.
hook them in.
Yeah,
Mhm.
potential. It's lead generation. Sorry to go marketing.
No, you're
speak,
good. Yeah.
but, like, yeah, it's that lead generation. Like, it's a lot easier to get in. It's a lot harder to get a new customer than it is to keep an existing one happy.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
But-
It's
yeah, it's
I-
interesting. I had not had any. Now, I did have one where, and it was actually the second box I got, and one of the containers leaked.
Oh,
So,
bummer.
like, it just, and I could see what it was. It just wasn't screwed on all the way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it gotten, misthreaded or something, whoever was packing it. But like I called Purple Carrot and I was like, hey, like this recipe was missing. And I think it was just like vinegar or something that didn't. So it kind of, but it never like leaked out of the box because everything is like kind of, there's another layer of packing around it. So it just
so
kinda,
much packing. It's great.
in a good way.
Yes.
But like it was within that like plastic bag and also that's another pro I like is the fact that they group everything for a recipe together. So you're not having to search
Yes.
through the box. So
Mhm.
it was just, okay, this vinegar was for everything in this box. And luckily I already had rice vinegar, so it was fine. But I called them, I said, hey, just to let you know, like this thing wasn't packed appropriately, so it leaked all over. So, but I just wanted to let them know for QA purposes because they can't fix what they don't know. And they gave me $5 off my next box. So it's like not a big deal. But I just think that was the only like kind of one like kind of packing shipping mishap I had. But even then, like everybody misscrews a lid sometimes. Like God knows I've spilled some stuff on myself.
I'm sure I did that today a couple of times.
Oh gosh.
I think some of my cons are just like some customer service pieces. I think like missed the shipping wasn't right.
Mhm.
One thing this actually got me on my next box, right? Okay, so on my next one that's coming, there's something I actually would not have actually got if I had paid attention, and I didn't pay attention, which this is kind of my point. It's the miso coconut ramen bowls.
Uh-huh.
I like the concept, but I'm like, look, I'm thinking about like I don't want that next week. But the problem is, I forgot this was still active,
Oh.
and they don't notify you. Hey, don't forget your boxes next week. Make your changes now. They don't. There's no.
I get an email every
communication.
I get an email every week.
I just check my inbox. I have emails from Purple Carrot, but nothing is. All I got is tracking info.
Oh,
You're-
weird.
Your account is all kinds of screwed up, David.
It is.
Like,
Yeah.
I
paid
get an
them.
email every week that's like, "Hey, don't forget your box is going to ship soon." Like last
Yeah.
year.
Okay, maybe it's my account because I'm getting their email, so it's not like it's the wrong email address. But I got tracking info for the box that got shipped that we're talking about. And then I
Yeah.
got two more emails. One is authorized payment, and the other one is like, how'd you like your meals? I got no notification
Weird.
because I would have gone like, oh crap, that's right, and either I turned it off or gone like, okay, I'm gonna switch out the ramen bowl for something else because I just wasn't in the mood for that, right?
Right.
And it's that again, maybe okay, fine. Here's a con: inconsistent communication across members. How about that? 'Cause-
There you go.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And if I'd have known, I'd have made the change. So I came in, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm getting it again because I forgot,
Yikes.
Um,
Yikes.
Yeah, because you can turn them off. You can say like, I don't want this one this week. So notification of like, hey, you turned it off. Are you sure? Or, hey, this is shipping in 3 days. Make some changes before it goes
Yeah.
out. I mean, I do Dollar Shave Club.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Same.
right? Right, yeah. But I get notification I get two notifications. I get
Yep.
notification saying, hey, before your box goes out, do you want any extras? Do you want to add some extra razors? Do you want some deodorant? Do you want to like to change it, cancel it, whatever, for the and then I
Right.
get like, it's about to ship. Are you sure? And then it has shipped. I get like 3 emails.
Right.
And those actually, from a marketing standpoint, I've added is like, oh, you know what? I know what? I want to try some different shampoos or whatever. So yes, I use shampoos. Leave me alone. You have to. It's the scalp and the skin in
The
your head.
scalp. Yeah, you're cleaning your scalp.
It's
You're not
different
cleaning
than
your
the
hair.
face. Um,
Fine.
but so like Dollar Shave Club gets more money out of me sometimes because I add things to it to try it out. Like, I'm almost out of deodorant. I need to get some at Target, but it's right here. I'm gonna try out this new one to see if I like it.
Have
Um,
y'all tried anything from the Plantry?
No, I
no,
haven't tried anything but dinners, and I'm very curious about the other stuff.
I am too. I think I may try that with like some of my next boxes and like because they have different stuff every week you can add. It's not
yeah,
like
Hmm.
the same things every time. Um, so
And
and I like to try new things. We've established I'm adventurous.
yeah.
I'm not as adventurous unless I do this, where I'm just like, go purple carrot, you pick. And so far, I've been pleasantly surprised. So, David, do you have any more cons before we talk about price?
Um, it's probably my biggest one. It's just too much fat and communication. It's
Okay.
probably my biggest ones, and they missed my delivery.
Yeah, I knew that would be a con because that was so ridiculous. We
Yeah,
would have recorded this earlier if that hadn't happened. So,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Okay, so I again get the 3 meals a week, which equals about 6 servings. For me, it can be up to about 9. It all depends because again, like I don't eat a whole bunch in one sitting, and if I add extra vegetables that I just happen to have laying around, I can really extend it sometimes. And I pay $74 a week for those 3 meals, which equals 6 to 9 servings. Um, for me, I think it's worth it. It's also very comparable to like the other meal deliveries I've done. I did plated, and I feel like that was about the same price, perhaps a little bit more. But I don't feel like the servings were as big with
Same.
that service. So I feel like I get way more food with purple carrot than I ever did with plated. Not only do I get enough food, but I don't have to go grocery shopping, which we've gone over is my least favorite thing to do. And I don't have to waste any food. And I don't have to buy large quantities of food, which is like a big deal to me. One of the things that we got, or I got one week, had like a can of beans, but really they give you like a little cardboard box of beans.
Mm.
And I'm like, it's not a big can. I don't need the whole can. It's just like a little cardboard box of it. And I was like, I just love that I don't have to buy the big portion of it. I can just have this little portion that they can bring to me. It just feels much better for me, like environmentally, makes me feel good. And I love that it's delivered to my door. So to me, it is worth every single cent. I have no complaint.
I agree. So I'm now on the same plan. I was originally on the plan where I got 8 meals total, which really translated into about 10, depending on
Right.
what I added and whatnot. Because I would try to stretch it out so I had like 5 lunches and 5 dinners to last me for a whole week. But I found I just wasn't eating them because I don't like eating the same thing every day. So I
Right.
was like pawning it off on like Molly or some other friends of like trading them like something I had cooked for something they had cooked, which we do all the time. It's a great system. But um, I actually made the switch, and that plan is a little bit more expensive. Not by a lot. I think it was only like $5 more, but you do get 2 additional meals. So
Right.
like the price per meal is lower, but I just didn't need that much food. So I switched to the same plan that you're on, which is the 3 meals, like 3 dinners, 2 servings per dinner. And like you said, I usually can get an extra serving or so, or sometimes not even like a whole extra serving, but maybe it's like a snack,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
because I am terrible about eating breakfast. So I usually just have a snack for breakfast, whether it's a slice of toast or leftovers of whatever it is I made the night before.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I think for the price, because when I actually sat down and like crunched the numbers of like how much I was spending on groceries, how much I was spending on eating out, how much I was spending on um, other like frozen meals and things like that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm spending about the same amount of money per week. And there's a lot more waste. And I'm not getting as much variety. And it's definitely not
Right.
as healthy, right? Because I was eating out a lot more. It's like people may balk and think, well, 6 meals for $75, that's over $10 per meal. Well, yeah, but at the same
But your
time,
time.
but my time is worth that. My time is
Mm-hmm.
worth a lot of money. I make a decent salary. Like, you
Okay, well,
know,
let's just calm down for a minute.
an hour of my time is worth that to me. And I would say, like, if you're on a budget, this may not be the best thing for you. Because $75 a week is a lot for some people to spend on food
Mm-hmm.
for themselves. But especially when it's not even, the whole week, it's just
Right.
meals. Um, but at the same time, it for me, it's like, okay, I know I'm at least going plant based for part of the week because I'm not 100% plant based.
That's
So
right.
it's that much less like animal products that I'm consuming. Um, but it's also just making my life easier. It's that time saving thing. So for me, it's worth it.
David.
Yeah, so I'm on the same plan, 74. And so it comes out to like between $10 to $11 a meal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mhm.
still trying to weigh if that is worth it. I have to go to the. It's not, it doesn't keep me from going to the store because I have to go anyway because I need like peanut butter and almond milk and stuff anyway for the week. So I have to go to the store either way. And I haven't been doing this long enough to really.
I'm lazy. I Instacart everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
It's
also you're frugal. Let's just
right. I tend to.
very frugal person. So when you do grocery shop, you're not like, I just grab some things sometimes, and you're not that kind of person for the most
I got
part.
coupons.
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
that. I don't I don't clip like I seriously like Kroger because that's mainly where I shop. Is they send me like this little thing of like, hey, here's stuff that you normally buy coupons for it, and I
Yep.
use them. So I'm frugal. I mean, I believe you should spend money on food because that's what you consume. That's what makes you a person. So you shouldn't like just you should eat stuff that's healthy and good for you and that sort of stuff. So, I think for me, and I mean, on average, when I go to the grocery store and I'm cooking for the week and I'm not just trying to like be super cheap for the week, I probably spend around about $80 a week, 80 to 90 depending. And I'm randomly averaging in my head. It goes a little higher, a little lower, but
Right.
let's say about 85 in the middle. Um, so if I go so I got this box that I'm looking at now is coming next week. So it means this Sunday I need to go to the grocery store. So
Right.
I'm going to shop like I'm not having to buy food for the week except for like Sunday night, Mondays, and those couple days. There's like 3 meals I got to compensate for. So I'm going to see what my bill comes out to food wise. Right?
Right.
Not paper
I'm
towels
curious.
and like, oh, I want this special sauce I don't have at home. Looks good. But like stuff that I would have to normally get when I go to the store. And see what that is plus the 74. And if that's roughly comparable to what I spend anyway, it's not a big deal. It's what I spend anyway. So that's what I have to figure out is if it for me is it makes sense cost wise. So I have to go to the store. So that's my biggest thing is, I talked to a person outside the show just to say like, they doesn't use it. And I'm like, it's this much and get what they think. And they're like, that sounds really good. Like that's what I spend roughly, anyway, because I have to eat out sometimes because I don't feel like, because they're like, I don't feel like cooking. So sometimes I have to Uber Eats it or go somewhere and
Yep.
I spend more than that anyway. So
Mhm.
that to them was like good price. So I'm like, okay,
It is.
maybe I'm being too critical. So I'll keep
You
going for
are
a couple weeks. I'll compare it to when I go grocery shopping and the total and see if it's at least 1 to 1. I'm fine. If I'm going over my budget, my perceived budget, then I might have to like back out. I'm not sure
yeah.
yet.
And see, when I was going grocery shopping and meal planning every week, I was spending upwards of like 120, $130
It's
a
for
week.
yourself or for you and someone else.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Okay.
Because again, though, when you go to the grocery store, if you're buying a sauce or some peanut butter or rice, you're having to get more than just what you need for that week, right? So
Hmm.
it's a little different.
Right.
Um,
That's what I'm saying. I'm not
yeah,
gonna. I would only include the stuff that would like that's what I need for the week, not stuff that's gonna be like long term, right? So if I go and get like
exactly.
vegan blue cheese, because Kroger's vegan blue cheese super good. By the way, I'm gonna so good. That I'm gonna be in the fridge for like 3 or 4 weeks because I'll just like have it with like fries or like on a sandwich or something.
Yeah,
So that's a condiment. So that I don't really include as much in my budget because that's gonna be long term garbage bags or paper
yeah,
towels or something like that. But things like a half a gallon almond milk that's gone in a week. So that's part I look at. So yeah, that's why I'm looking at it that way.
You
yeah.
could also just skip a few weeks every month and just give yourself like 1 or 2 weeks a month if it does become like kind of comparable where you're going to have something different you because you said you eat the same thing all the time, so
Right.
an option would be is you don't have to go full force and get it every week. You could just get it like half the month and have those months be or those weeks be like your creative eating week, the week where you eat something different, and the other weeks you eat kind of your same stuff,
Yeah.
which would make those same stuff weeks a little bit more exciting because you're not eating it as frequently.
True.
So,
I do like the fact that I don't have to think. So I could also say like if there is added cost, like I don't have to think about it. It takes that anxiety and that stress out, which is nice.
yeah. Hmm.
Um.
Yep.
So and I again welcome to my brain. I overthink everything. I'm like, well, it's too much, but also you're taking anxiety. It's kind of like I pay for someone to come and mow my lawn. I have a lawnmower. I can mow my own lawn, but I was like, if I want to stand, do I want to have all the time, like 4 hours out mowing and weed eating and taking care of everything, or just pay someone
No.
like $50 every 2 weeks to come and just go and mow the lawn, and I don't have to do it. And
Yeah,
the extra cost in my life was worth it for my own mental health. So it's
same.
not worried about. However,
Oh gosh.
I need to try one thing I didn't do with this box, and because I had time, because I literally had finished this and now we're recording it.
Right.
I want to put it into Chronometer,
Yes.
and I want to see what those meals for me for the week came out to, and if it was low in something. Because
Right.
if I see they're consistently low in vitamins and minerals, that's a big deal for me.
Yeah. We
Uh,
just did a whole episode on micros and macros as well, which I think comes out before this. So again, well, it's like three former episode references. Go me. Okay.
you get a gold star. So I think
But I am curious what that would be.
yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
even looking at the previous like the ones from my box, like so let's like if you look at them, like for the week I had the Romanesco bowl, which was like beans, zucchini, and it was like the mushrooms, onion, and like the sauce, right? And then the Thai was the noodles, the tempeh, and had some veggies. There was no leafy green in this, other than the bok choy.
Huh.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Most of the
there was
time,
no romaine, arugula, spinach, nothing. It was you had bok choy. That was it. There's no leafy greens in the whole thing.
That is a good point.
it's interesting. I think part of it is maybe because I'm so anal, I go in and like pick my meals. Like I pick things that have the vegetables I like.
Fair.
So I actually got one meal that's the meal that's coming and the I think it's not next week but the week after. Um like one of the things I got because it has asparagus in it and I freaking love asparagus.
I do too. David
Uh,
hates it. Ha.
um but
Y'all
like and
nasty.
then some things I pick because it's got vegetables that I'm not as familiar with or haven't cooked with. Like I'm getting on that same week I'm getting these parsnip and carrot and bhajis, which are little cakes.
Ooh.
But they also have green beans. So I'm one of those people that's anal and it's like I'm not measuring macros and micros and those things, but I'm also like trying to choose things that have more green vegetables.
Right.
So I'm like kind of making that conscious choice when I'm going in and picking the meals. Now that being said, like I love me some noodles. Like pretty much any
Oh
noodle
yeah.
dip offer, I'm getting it because especially if it's like an Asian noodle dish. I'm real excited about these creamy peanut noodles with ginger asparagus,
Well,
collard greens. Let me tell you,
That
well,
sounds
like
so good.
right? And
that.
like the one
Oh
that's coming
gosh.
next week that I'm super excited about are sweet corn stuffed poblanos with creamed spinach.
I
That
almost
So
got
sounds
that one. I almost got that one
amazing.
actually.
it looks so good, and it's again, it's not a flavor profile I normally eat a lot. Like
Right.
I know a lot of people are obsessed with Mexican food. I'm not one of those people. I
Me
don't
too.
eat it a lot. I don't crave it a
Hmm.
lot. Like every once in a
Ditto.
while, yeah, sure, I want some like salsa and some queso maybe, but like I'm also like queso's not vegan, so y'all are
Right.
well.
They make
Um,
they make queso.
They have some options.
Come
some
on.
options, but let's be honest, it's not going to be like
No, it's not the
like it's
same.
not the same. You can make some damn tasty vegan nachos. I've had them,
Yes. I
but
Right.
have too at Cafe Sunflower. They used to make
Oh.
the best ones at the other
so
location. Oh, good,
good,
good, good.
so good.
Well, I think
I have tomato zucchini fritters coming next week, which sounds like that's an interesting combo.
Yeah,
Okay. I like a good fritter. I'm excited. And I also have black pepper tofu, which makes me think of Grand China.
got that one coming too.
yeah.
Yes, they have
Yes.
salt and pepper tofu there, and I love
Oh,
it. So I'm
so
like
good.
very excited for that recipe.
I got.
Yeah, it does look very similar, and it has Chinese broccoli and brown rice. So again, I was picking it because it had that like green vegetable with it.
Hmm.
It also has a high protein rating, David. So
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and with the tofu especially gonna be in there. So, say I have ancient one. I have. I have my obviously three things. One is the black pepper tofu,
Oh,
right?
good.
And I have the ancient grain bowls.
okay.
Um, but my mouse is not doing the thing. Do the thing. Do the clicky click. Do the clicky click thing. There you go. And the other one is the miso coconut ramen bowl, the one I'm not looking forward to so much.
Hmm.
And it has so it has Swiss chard. That's the only one that has leafy green in it. The reason I bring that up is that leafy greens is a good source of iron.
Right.
So you need a fair amount of leafy greens in your diet, right? So I have I have actually 2 meals out of an entire week that has leafy greens in it. So if I want actual leafy greens, I'm gonna have to buy leafy greens to put in it,
Right.
which seems counterproductive.
It is, but it also reminds you that you should look before your box is sent out because like I have the black pepper tofu, which has the broccoli, but then I have Mexican moles.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say that? And
Yeah.
it has a whole bunch of romaine lettuce. So like there's like a whole salad on the side. So I
Yeah.
think there are ones you can pick, but you're right. Now that I think about it, there hasn't been as many leafy green recipes, and that is because I don't check. I just go, send me whatever, but
Yeah.
maybe I should check more often, I
Yeah,
guess.
and like the one I got that doesn't really have any green vegetables in it, but it has red cabbage, so it's still got some of the fiber and things.
Hmm.
And this one is also one that's kind of a variation in terms of it's not a flavor profile I get a lot, but they're tropical avocado cakes with mango
Oh my
slaw and pickled
gosh.
pepper aioli.
Holy.
So they're little
Shit.
cakes made with quinoa, cannellini beans, and some avocado to like bind it.
That sounds
Um,
amazing.
yeah, it looked really good. And like I love a good aioli. I like sauces. So
Hmm.
I'm known as a saucy wench in many of my friend circles. And, and like the idea of like a pickled pepper aioli, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll try
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, absolutely.
so I'm very excited about this one. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't have a lot of green vegetables, but it still has cabbage. It has some
Yeah.
scallions. It's got, and like I can always put like it makes this slaw with mangoes and avocado and cabbage. I can always throw that on a bit of spinach if I want.
Right.
That's true.
That's something. It's like if you can, I really like that you can adjust it. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
just I'm thinking if you're someone who is like I don't want to go to the store, don't buy a bunch of stuff, just give me the box. I'll make it for myself or my family for the week.
Hmm.
If leafy green vegetables is a concern for you, you may have to like make sure you change the meal out, which means you may miss out on something you
Right.
really want because you make sure you hit that micro, the micro, for your iron. But you may have to go buy something and add to it. Something may not adjust for. So like
That's true.
I
It's a good thing
again
to
I
pay
overthink
attention
I think
to.
about these things, but
No, that's the thing I hadn't even noticed. So you're right. Unless you're like really consciously looking, you could get a little bit of a deficit with the leafy greens. I'm all for always having like something extra in my fridge of that sort, like a bag of lettuce or whatever. So I have added like a salad on the side a few times, just because I felt like I needed extra veggies for that day. Maybe my lunch wasn't the greatest thing or whatever.
Same.
And when I pick a recipe from a cookbook, I also add to it. I also change it. So I think it's kind of the same way. Um, I do want to challenge myself over the next few weeks to try some of the recipes that are in these little recipe books that were items that I didn't get, that
Right.
were meals I didn't get. I want to try them and just see, how good they come out when I don't have them delivering the ingredients to me and I have to get them myself. So I'm just going to try a few of them because I find this like the fact that you have all these recipes to be a huge, huge bonus
Yeah, I
that
think for someone like me who's like kind of again dipping their toe into the plant-based world and just kind of doing it part-time, um, I think it's really helpful to kind of see, oh, that's a good idea. I never would have thought of that, right?
right.
And like, because there's a lot of things I make where I think, how can I make this vegan? But it's stuff that I normally make with meat. So it's like I'm just looking to replace the meat. It's not using the veggies as a star, so to speak,
Mhm.
Ooh,
right?
I like that. Yeah.
So, I like the fact that many of these dishes, like, like with those cakes, right? It's like that's the star of the dish. It's not like, it's challenging me to use things in different ways, which I like as someone who
Hmm.
likes to cook and likes to learn new techniques and things like that. So I'm with you. I kind of want to look like I sit every time I get my box after I put everything away. The first thing I do is like I sit down with the recipe
Yes.
book and I sit down and flip through it, and I'm like, ooh, just looking at pictures too. They're really well printed. Like they're
Oh, very well,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. From
um,
from some marketing girls, we'll let you know this is some good material right here. This is well done. Okay.
well
This gets me
done.
every time.
And you're not getting just a card. I think that's one thing that I do like, and it's one thing I liked about when I did Hungry Root. I liked the Hungry Root boxes as well because you got a recipe booklet that had all the recipes in it.
So cool.
So you could see all the different ways to combine things. But so I enjoy that versus like a Plated or a Blue Apron or HelloFresh where you literally just get that card for that recipe, right?
Yep. And that's it.
Um,
Yeah.
which don't
Hmm.
get me wrong, I still love some of those recipes from HelloFresh. Like there's some
Yep.
things that have become kind of pretty standard in my rotation from those HelloFresh boxes I got, 2 years ago. But
Right.
I've really been enjoying the purple carrot experience, and I'm probably going to keep doing it for a while. I may not do it every week. I may go to just doing it like every other week or something.
Hmm.
Especially if the world ever opens up again and I start traveling again.
Yeah.
A girl can hope. Wear your masks, people.
Right? Come on now.
As someone recovering from COVID, wear your freaking mask.
Yes, absolutely. We second that.
Vaccinated, but got a
Yes.
breakthrough case. So
Yeah. Oh,
Happens to the
goodness.
best of us, fortunately.
Yes. Well, I'm going to continue using purple carrot for sure. One of my final little tidbits is we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, stemming from our interview with Peggy back in the day. She talked about making cooking into an art and looking at your food like ingredients for an art project. And I have been focusing on that this year and really like mindfully cooking, like really focusing on the vegetables. What do they look like? What do they smell like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like when you're cooking? Because the sounds of cooking are kind of amazing.
oh yeah.
Um, and this box really helps me with that because the ingredients are so fresh and superior. Again, I've had no issues, no like, bad vegetables at all. And I had a lot of bad ones with Plated. No offense, Plated, but I'm just saying.
But offense.
But purple carrot has been spectacular. So when I get these beautiful vegetables and fruits and I'm just like in love with the ingredients, it really does make cooking more enjoyable. So I consider that an extra benefit of purple carrot is you will receive some of the best ingredients and it'll feel like a whole production. I really love this whole like meals, like all the ingredients in the whole. You can make it a date night, which I think is fun. You could cook with your friends, which is also kind of cool. I just think it's a great way to liven up your meals. I also think it's kind of funny. Like, could you imagine what our grandparents would think of a box of ingredients delivered to my door and I'm supposed to make some recipe some other
So
person told me to make?
I was getting boxes delivered when my grandmother was still alive.
Oh gosh.
And she was very confused by it, but she also thought it was so cool because she was
Yay.
one of those people. So my grandmother was funny because she hated cooking. She'd be the first. She was not your typical little old Southern grandma that loved to cook for you. My
I love
grandmother,
it.
my grandmother was a child of Danish immigrants. Like you cooked to feed yourself. Like you cooked to survive long Danish winters. That's all you needed. Like, so, but she thought it was great. She was like, wait, people just bring you these groceries to your door? And it's everything you need to make that recipe. I'm like, yeah, it's already here for you. You just put it together. She's like, I'd probably like cooking if that was all that was into it. Because once I moved in with her, and I moved in with her to help take care of her when she was in her mid 80s, and she lived to be in her till her late 90s. So I lived with her for almost 20 years.
Mhm.
And once I moved in, she's like, "Oh, great! I don't have to cook anymore. I've cooked for my entire life. I'm done."
Listen, if I moved in with you, I'd probably say the same thing too. Oh, cool, cool, cool.
Right? And my grandmother was adventurous. She would try anything I made for her. She would try plant-based food. She didn't care as long as she didn't have to cook it.
I just
Um,
love that. She thought it was cool. Oh,
yeah,
that's so
she thought it
neat.
was awesome. I could see how some people would grumble about it, but my grandmother was kind of a pure spirit though, who was just she found a lot of joy in things.
I've always thought about that. Ever since I've heard about a meal delivery program like this, like a meal subscription thing, I'm just like, God, my grandmother would be like, what in the crap are you doing? What is this? And I just find that so fascinating.
My grandmother would probably be like, she'd be interested. She'd be like, "Oh, how's it work? Oh, you send you this." She would actually love it, I think.
Yeah,
Because
that's
like,
so
but
interesting.
like my grandmother, like I listen to like I think I mentioned before, I listen to like really aggressive, like loud, crazy music, and like I would play like Slipknot, like aggressive to her, and she would go, "I like the drums. I like the drums," and like that's
Oh
oh
my
that's
God.
he's a little loud. I don't like he sounds angry, but I like the drum. She would always find
She
something.
would find something. Oh,
She was like awesomely supportive of anything.
oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, and so like she wouldn't. She would, oh, how does that work? And they just send you. Oh, that sounds like it's so much easier for you. She would actually
Right?
find a ways to make that supportive. Yeah, she would love it.
Oh, that's so
I've asked her.
cute.
I remember asking her. I was like, honey, you've called her honey. Like all the grandkids called her honey. I was like, you've lived through like a lot of like technological advances, like
Right.
advances in technology. I was like, what is that like? And she's like, it's weird. It's been really weird, but it's amazing to see things change.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
I
can't
think
imagine.
yeah, right. Can you imagine like having like no TV and now it's like there's a TV in my pocket. Like
Yeah, I can watch anything
Yeah.
I want right here. But oh wait, that just makes me think like they used to get milk delivered to their door. So I guess it's not that much different. I guess it's just come in full circle.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Well, it's like-
interesting.
different way of doing it. I mean, we actually, when I was little, we had Mayfield Dairy here in Georgia that
Mhm.
delivered milk, eggs, and butter to your door.
Oh my gosh.
And we had like the little box out front with the ice. They put the ice in it and they deliver our stuff.
So southern.
It's very southern, but they did. I mean, I remember even as a little kid having to go out and get the milk. Like
Oh my God. That's
the milkman
so
came.
Have you-
Um, okay, that was the best
Wow.
chocolate milk ever because it was like fresh from a cow that I knew down the street. But
anyway,
Oh my gosh.
sorry, I know that's not the point of this
change that
podcast,
subject real quick on the show.
But hey, we're making different choices
We
now.
are.
That's
Right?
right. That's right.
So-
We are.
Oh,
We are.
if you think about it, like it's interesting because if you think about it, I'm gonna say that twice. That do you remember Webvan?
I don't know what that is.
So Webvan was the very first grocery delivery service. You would go to the
Yes.
website and you would choose what you want, and they would go buy it for you and bring it to you, and they failed because no one would do it. Yeah,
When
now
was
we have-
this?
this was like back in like the early mid '90s.
Oh
Yeah, it was
wow.
like
Yeah.
very early internet age.
Yeah, and
Right.
my great aunt Pat did it, and like most of my family thought she was like you have people bring you your groceries? Oh my god! I thought it was
Before
amazing. Like
Amazon was the thing. I remember because it was before Amazon
it
was a thing, so
was.
people were not comfortable using their credit cards online.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah. And then like being like, "Hey, here's my address. Bring me something to my door." Like
Yeah.
that sounded so dangerous.
yeah,
I feel like
Which it
these
is.
these services are
Kind of.
like Leadvan was a bit of a precursor to these services because they basically did the same thing. You chose what you wanted, but you had to choose your meals, what you wanted for the week, and say, "Give me these things to make these meals," and they bring them to you. It almost feels like a precursor to it. So I mean, that was around when at least my grandparents were around. So I think there's a little bit was there already anyway.
Right.
So this is kind of like we'll
It's
choose the meals
evolved
for
from
you.
that.
It's
Yeah.
almost like it's almost like if Instacart decided what you were gonna have that week,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
they're like,
kind
"Here's
of.
the food for the week. Meals we decided we're gonna shop for you." It's kind of
Yeah,
what it's like. Yeah,
it basically is. Oh goodness. Well, we have talked for almost 2 hours now
just
about purple
about.
carrot.
Yeah.
It's not even sponsored.
No,
Not even
Purple
getting
Carrot. If you
anything
want to
for
sponsor
this.
the show,
But
Nope.
don't think I'm not tagging them though.
oh yeah, like a mother.
All right. Well, if you would like to listen to this episode or any other episodes, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, or anywhere else you get your podcast fix. Make sure to leave us a review. Please, pretty please. We need all the reviews we can get. Recommend us to your friends, family, coworkers, strangers, the delivery driver. Of course, follow us on Instagram, Facebook at The Average Vegans, or email us at theaveragevegans@gmail.com. We would love to hear if you have tried Purple Carrot yourself or if you have any other meal subscription recommendations. You can find show notes, links, and more at theaveragevegans.com. And again, we want to hear all your episode suggestions, your favorite vegan treats, all that stuff. And we want to thank Rosie for joining us today to talk about purple carrot for way too long. I knew it was going to be a long episode.
You knew this was going to happen when you invited me on.
Yes, yes.
You knew.
And we appreciate you joining us. And we hope that this inspires some of you to try something new, purple carrot or otherwise. And that is it for the week.
All right. Well, until next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.